Hi, Vanessa Singh here. I'm going to be talking about my experience interviewing potential users on regards to meal planning applications. I interviewed my brother Eric Castro, as well. I interview an acquaintance that lives here in my town, and as well a former co-worker. I try to obtain or reach out people that have different type of menu type of different type of diets and as well of heritage because when it comes to meal preparation or um, heritage and religion, they do tend to influence on what the people eat or decides to eat. So on the persona, I put in my brother. This is not his image. I try to keep his image away, but the answers are legit. I did interviewed him, and we talked about a little bit on regards to what is typical days go by. And he mentions that he normally, works a typical job, the 9 to 5, as a salesman in a furniture store called Boscov. And once he arrives home, he then starts to plan for dinner. He did mentions that sometimes he arrives home and stares at the fridge because he doesn't know what he should make for dinner for the family, and sometimes he doesn't feel motivated to cook, so they tend to eat outside or get food delivered to them at their home. He did mention to me that he would like to eat a little bit healthier. Not necessarily has to be vegetarian friendly, but at least a little bit healthier. Because as for in his case, because he works a lot, he feels like he doesn't have enough time to prepare a meal, and then just arriving home tired, he already doesn't feel as motivated to prepare meals. So hopefully by having something that influence what he wants to eat for that evening, and as well motivates him to prepare meal. I did ask him what is um, where he does he get recipes from, or any type of motivation that gets him to try either new meals or new recipes, things like that. And he did mention that when he feels that he doesn't have idea or needs some type of motivation to try to prepare something new for food, he goes either to YouTube or he goes to Pinterest. As to when I asked him if he had a person that he specifically likes to follow when it comes to food, and he did mention Gordon Ramsay as an influencer to how he would like to prepare meals. Another goal that he mentioned to me that he would like to be able to achieve is prepare meal for to take to work. He did mention to me that sometimes he either takes leftovers from the day before, or sometimes usually he doesn't take anything at all, and he ends up eating from a fast food restaurant, which is not a healthy choice. And he would like to prepare meal at home in advance for the evening, but as well that he will be able to take for work. uh, Typically, as I mentioned earlier, he looks to social medias, YouTube and Pinterest for inspirations, and he feels like he sometimes when he feel inspired to prepare a meal for that evening after work, he stops by at the local grocery store to get a couple of ingredients. But as well, when after we talked for a bit, I did mention him that part does feel like it does takes a lot of time, if he feels that he has to go daily go grocery shopping. Now when it comes to menu type, he specifically doesn't have large restrictions, but he did mention that he does tends to have kind of like a paleo diet, which mainly consists of meat and grains and vegetables, but mainly a lot of meat involved. His other than that, he does tend to eat a lot of fast food restaurant because he's always on the go from work and home. But my brother is Hispanic, so mainly his food consists of Hispanic food. And when it comes to ingredients, he mentioned that he dislikes beans, corn, and peas. Uh, on the questions that I created, I did put in the type of ingredients that he normally eats from the food group, and that's why I created a bar at the bottom of the persona to kind of show what type of food that he normally tends to eat. I feel that this part is actually helpful when it comes to creating the app because in my competitive analysis assignment, I did talk about how some apps don't have sufficient categories to refine the content. And when you're a person that is constantly on the go, don't have enough time, so you don't have time to waste on an app or on a website trying to look what of all the content that it has, what do you like to prepare for that evening rather than having an easy accessible categories that you can refine the content to what you like to eat the most. And that is why I created those type of questions. Besides my brother, I spoke to another person where that person is vegetarian, so their journey was quite different from my brother because my brother is more, you know, hardworking. Don't barely have any time for cooking, while the other person does have uh, a little bit more time and flexibility when it comes to planning and preparing a meal, but they have a diet restriction, which is, mostly vegetarian. And then I interview another person that person has a bit of flexibility when it comes to uh, spending time planning and preparing meal, and it doesn't have any restriction at all. So those are the type of users that either um, don't spend or don't look up recipes too much because they they don't have a specific need, they will eat anything. But those type of users do tend to when they look for recipes, they do tend to look for inspiration of trying out something new without any restrictions. So it was all actually quite interesting to interview these people and ask them a couple questions that I was able to ask them, and that got me a better idea, a grasp of what can I do on regards to the app to provide the needs of each individual, because each one of them has different needs. So I would like to try, if as a developer, to satisfy each need, which my competitive analysis assignment when I was reviewing different companies that provide the service for meal planning, some of them were didn't have much variety when it comes to satisfying different type of needs for different users, specifically when there is an restriction like allergy, a food to allergies, and some type of menu type like vegetarian, pescatarian, that type of diet. Some companies, meal planners didn't have that option for those users. So those are users that companies are losing because they just don't have the option to refine the content instead of having to search one by one or search per page to find something that they were interested on. I believe I spoke a lot already. And so that was basically my experience interviewing potential users. My name is Vanessa saying thank you for watching.